be on here pretty much long. I might title this "Yesterday's Price Ain't Today Price." So basically, I'm gonna talk a little bit about education too. I was looking at John Hope Bryan, and real good money man, philanthropist and all that. And one of the things that stuck out with me, and I've always, had this thought that I'm actually finna start enforcing on my kids, is to go to trade school before they go to college, before they go to the military. Trade schools last anywhere from 6 months to a year. You're already getting into the field. You already have that trade that can always be in position to have a job. So tradesmen are almost outdated right now. Ain't too many tradesmen out there, so they're gonna have a step up. The crazy part is, it's not being pushed no more. We want our kids to go to college, and college is not for everybody. Everybody's not meant to go to college. Doing those trigonometry, calculus classes, picking up another science, dealing with biology. I mean, if you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, thing status, professor or a teacher, then that's what you need. But people who are going into the dentist field, they can go to a trade school and learn majority of that stuff, and you're off to the race. Trade schools, learning how to deal with motors, fixing on cars, that's your passion. Same thing with truck driving, just holding the steering wheel. You drive well, there you go. I know one of my friends who drive 18-wheelers, this guy, 30 years, no, I think he said 40 years. 40 years been in the business. Never got a single ticket. His truck is always on point. And when I say on point, you have to do an inspection on your truck every morning to make sure everything's right. You keep up with your log books. Every time you go somewhere, you have a log contesting to where you're going, how far you driven, because you don't want to drive over the required miles, the required hours, and end up getting in trouble. Back in the day, we call it the Wild Wild West. I was a part of that. Just driving, no logs, and if you do get caught, throw up a log book. But then, they had to outlaw it because drivers were getting in trouble too much. You had drivers that were driving 20 hours straight, drinking coffee, other stuff that I don't want to say on here. And then you had the drivers who, just took advantage of a good system. So that's why they implemented, more or less, it always been implemented, the 14-hour rule, 10-hour drive, get your break time, lunchtime, all that. That was always implemented, but when it came down to it, a lot of people just took advantage of that. But get back into what I was saying, was getting my kids more into a trade before they go to college, before they go to the military. They already have a degree. They already have, not just saying a degree, a career. Because when you get a trade in plumbing, HVAC, electrical, possibly even want to drive CDLs, you can get into the field right away versus going to college, doing 3 to 4 years, going into student loan debt, all that. Hey, it's up to you. But, you give your kids a fighting chance to where while they're in college, they can be working. Most jobs understand and they work with college kids, because, hey, it's cheaper for them. They'll pay them a little less and they'll, get the ball rolling. Appreciate the lights. But it's going to, like I said, this ain't going to be long. This going to be quick. But, more or less, too, getting into it, the housing market. Been seeing a lot of houses going up for sale. And a lot of people in the government, you know, kind of scared, don't know what's going to happen with their job. I mean, most people, if you've been on your job for a long time, you got a great career, you want to always bounce back. You're going to find another job. You know, jobs are hiring. You know, despite what people say, jobs are hiring. Sometimes it might not be the job you want, but it's the job that you need. Jobs are hiring. You know, same thing with me in the driving field. There's not one job I can't go to unless I have a bad driving history that I can't find a job. Simply put, because drivers are in high demand because you need good drivers. It's one thing to put somebody in a truck, then they go and tear it up. But then it's another thing to put somebody in the truck and they take care of your truck, you know, possibly even if they drive for themselves, they take care of your name within the company brand. You're not going to find that from a good driver. Same thing with when I do my side business with home improvement and stuff like that. I don't cheat the customer. I don't hike up prices. I don't try to force things that are not there. If you just need a handle on your toilet, I'm not going to upcharge you and try to get you a whole toilet for about $250. That's including the toilet. I'm not going to upcharge you on that. You know, same thing if you have a water leak. I'm not going to sit here and say, man, you need your whole plumbing system redid. No, fix the patches and we'll go from there. I can suggest it if it's too bad, but that's on you. A lot of people don't have the money. I'm not going to cheat people. Same thing with me doing deliveries. I do many hats. But even when I used to move furniture, you know, I give you a fair market value of, you know, when I used to move, when I worked for a company and when I also did lumping. Lumping considered to be, you know, it's like part-time, working temp, you just like a day laborer. So you get a day labor rate. So with moving, I used to get a day labor rate of $150. Then it went up to about $250, and that's for 8 hours. You know, anything over 8, you start kicking in 50 at a time, depending. Minis are 4 hours, so anywhere from $80 to $100. Those are minis. So there were several times where people try to get over, because, you know, you see those signs out on the road that's saying $75 movers. 2 movers for $75. But what they don't tell you is they have a requirement of 4 hours. You got to have 4 hours. So 75 times 4, you're looking at $300. So that's a bare minimum of $300. But it's not wrong, because if you look at, like I say, as far as the movers, a mini will run you anywhere from $100. So a mini is 100, and that's for 4 hours. The moving company gives both the driver and the helper $100 for 4 hours, and then they take 100. So that's why the requirement for that, $75 is small, but when you add it up on the grand scheme, it gets a lot over time. Same thing with the moving, I do deliveries. Depending on how far you need delivered and what you need delivered or picked up. I pick up a sofa, some can fit on the back of my truck, easy, $75. You know, depending on how far you're going. Pick up a bedroom set. That includes dresser, nightstand, bed, frame, mattress, all that. Depending on where you're going, upstairs, downstairs, looking at anywhere from $200 to $250. And I'm putting it together. You know, most delivery service might charge you $150 and everything, but they don't care about bumping and stuff, hitting the walls. I got protective gear that I can cover your walls, all that stuff. But it's always depending on you're willing to pay for a service. And the service that you pay for that's what you get. You pay $75 for a guy to deliver a dresser. He nick your wall. He's not looking at, oh man, I got to take some of that off the price of delivery. It's just a small nick. He don't have no repair kit to try to repair that hole in the wall, or a little punch, tearing up the corners, scraping on the furniture. He don't have, markers to clean those up. None of that. But that's the thing, when you pay for quality, you get what you pay for. Good. What's the guy he made this term? You want it cheap, you want it fast, and you want it good. Because if you get it cheap and you get it fast, then it won't be good. But if you get it good and you get it fast, then it won't be cheap. So it's like always depending on how you're willing to look at the things that you want done. And then lastly, I'm gonna get on this. It's about the housing market. And for those that know previous videos, I've always said this. I don't care what time it is. In 10 years, they can have it at 15%. In Mills, what's going on? Grand Rising. 15%. I'm still buying a home. I don't care. It can be at 20% interest rate. I'm still buying a home, because why? The housing market, when it goes to it, the price of the house, you argue the price of the house. That's how you get bearings on your interest rate. You argue the price of the house down, you get inspections. Don't you know, I saved over $7,000, really more than that, by getting an inspection on my own. Getting an inspection, I saved like close to 10 by just getting an inspection on my own. The inspection indicated that I needed a new porch, a new patio, because they did a good job painting it, but you seen spots where the wood was rotting and they just painted over rotted wood. And all my inspector didn't damage it, went to the bottom of the wood, chipped around and showed them, hey, look, looks nice up top, but down bottom it's rotted. And I did have an issue with 2 of my steps, which I haven't did the steps yet, but I had an issue with 2 of my steps. Broke one of them, replaced it with another board, and it was fine. Then another one was my patio. Same thing. Board needed replaced on my patio. What else? The interior could have been painted. Guy gave a little extra for that. Trails, what's going on? Oh man, checked out your channel the other day when you was overseas. I like that. I told my wife about traveling and stuff, because she's from Jamaica, so she want to travel so much. So yeah, that's the thing. We looking into that. But yeah, I'll buy a house at 20%, whatever, because you got to understand, you argue the price of the house. Then you go for your interest rate is looking, because you got to understand this. At the end of the day, 2021 showed that if people didn't know how to really market themselves and buy a home, you failed if you bought your house in 2021. Everything went up. Interest rates went up. The inflation on those properties were selling $100,000 over market value. And because houses were selling in that area like that, I know what it was. I said it a long time ago. If I have a company, I'm not going to say all the names, but let's say if I have a company go and buy a house, I pay $50,000 over market value, then I have an individual come buy a house to hold it for a year, to try to flip it or something, then sell it. The same thing is occurring. You're having a company come and buy a house, $50,000 over market value, then They put a new kitchen in there. They up the value of the house. Then the person that comes to buy it, that's just a flipper or something like that, he comes to spend 20,000 over market value. Then guess what? You're gonna sit there and you're gonna be paying 100,000 over what the house is originally worth. And guess how they price the houses according to other people in the area, how their houses sell. So if your house sold for over 100,000 and you got a new kitchen, but the person down the street, they got a new kitchen, new floors, everything, and their house sold for a certain price, guess what? When it comes down to it, they're gonna get a better value and a better deal on those prices. When it comes down to all these people saying, oh man, the market is going crazy. Yeah, the market is going crazy because you got people that inflate the prices on those houses. The houses market is inflated. Those prices are inflated. And when those prices are inflated, I'm about to get ready to park. But when those prices are inflated, people can do whatever in the market. And so at the end of the day, that's why they were having those prices inflated like that, to mess people up. When it came down to it, all they were doing was inflating the prices, trying to get people to buy houses, and that pushed the market to where everybody was buying houses out of wax. Everybody wasn't looking at the overall value of, yeah. And see, that's the thing. You didn't even have to fix it, do anything to it. 2021 was the best time to sell your home because people were just trying to buy up everything. Even these companies, the companies are buying up, but see, the companies were smart. They were buying up so crazy, even if the house was over market value, because not saturating the market with houses, then people, it's like a situation of like kids and candy. When they see free candy, everybody's running to go get some free candy. When they see that everybody's doing it, they're running to do it because everybody's doing it. When it comes down to it, knowing how to buy a house, when to buy a house, like I said, depending on the interest rate, I don't care what the interest rate is, I'm gonna buy a house regardless at a certain time, because at the end of the day, if you need a home, you shouldn't even be worrying about the interest rate. You should be worrying about somewhere to live, somewhere to stay. If, like I was just talking to my brother this morning. My brother was telling me how renting an apartment right now, 1 bedroom, is $1,400. I said, man, you could take that same $1,400, go buy a house, take that house and rent out a room or two in the house that you have. And the people that stay in those rooms will cover that $1,400. If the mortgage is $14,000, I got a friend right now in the military. He ended up, being disabled, getting money from the military. I think he gets about $1,500. Jordan, what's going on, man? Work it out. Don't you know that $1,400 that my friend gets from the military pays the mortgage on his house? Pays the mortgage on his house. And he's looking into getting more money due to the fact that the first initial, like this guy J3, was going on. This guy has some issues, man. And he's working with the military with him. He's like, I'm not trying to go 100%. He said, because I'm still able to work, but he just want to be compensated for, the issues that he had while in the military. I got another friend. I tell you, when I say this, I'm starting out by saying this is a real good friend of mine. And I he don't watch my YouTube. This guy, he about that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I say that crazy, I ain't saying small. I'm saying like his crazy is in a nutshell and it explodes. So I've been telling him, man, he need to seek and get some help and talk to people, you know. So now he's opening up and he's trying to do this. He said he tried to get help before, and the military didn't listen to him and stuff like that. And I was like, man, you need to kind of stop working and get compensated for it, because this guy's easily triggered to go off. Fireworks, anything, like he like goes back into survival mode. He just drop panic, like just like a tick, like he's ready to explode. But man, I'm talking about real good guy, man, real cool, but it just little things that kind of pinch him. And I told him, I said, man, I think you actually just need to be, more or less chilling out. He was in the military. Go get some help. Get some help. They'll pay you some money and they let you have time to relax, because most of the time, people suffering from depression, people having mental issues. I kind of am real sympathetic for that, because I have people in my family that are like that, suffering from mental issues. And, just, I don't like how people always try to push everybody in that same narrative about getting over on the government and stuff like that. There are some people that actually have real issues that need help and need to stay home, because if they out here in your streets, it's going to be a problem. But I'm getting all off topic. But like I say, back into it, like with the housing market, this is the best time to buy a house, because the price of the house, what? It always goes up. Always going up. You won't see too many houses market where the prices go down. Now that people are buying houses, you're starting to see a little, houses been on the market for, 90 days. Houses, I seen one house been on the market for a whole year, because they trying to get those 2021 prices. Nobody's buying in a neighborhood of 200,000, maybe 250,000, a house for 450. They were inflating the prices and people were buying up crazy, because like I said, in my neighborhood, if all the houses in my neighborhood are only 100,000 and 5 houses get sold for a minimum of 200,000, guess what? If I was to sell my $100,000 house, guess how much would it be worth for? It'd be worth all right, let me show. Okay. So basically, they held your comment back about the cussing, but buying a house now, what's the problem? For one, if you have a credit score right, job, you can buy a home. Appreciate it, Jay. And Jay, I don't know why. Okay, I know how to do this now. Boom. You see channel. Dang. Okay. Say, Jay, I don't know why you ain't got no wrench over here. Like, oh yeah, that's when they was doing the whole switch, and I couldn't be able to give people wrenches back and stuff. But basically, buying a home now is easy. You got your credit, you make enough money, you can buy a house, no problem. Queena, what's going on? I know I ain't been over here in a minute. Real easy if you can buy a house. If you got your credit, you got the money, you can buy a house. I mean, needless to say, everybody's talking about the market being so bad. Market is always bad. The market is never good. Especially with you spending money. The bank whole thing is they want you to stay in your house at least 5 years or more. They can get some profit. Because all you're doing is paying interest. The first 15 years, you're going to be paying interest on that home. First 15 is interest. So the longer you stay in those 15 years, they kind of estimating that's how much more money they're going to get off of you. Because what? If you default on your loan, what they're going to do? They're going to put your home back on the market, sell it to somebody wholesale, or they're going to sell it to a real estate agent or on an auction block and get their money. That's their thing at the end of the day, is getting their money. Then your house is gonna be flipped back onto the market where somebody else can buy it. But the biggest thing is, why not buy now? Why not? Everybody's talking about, oh man, it's not a good time. Dude, you buy a house now with the interest rate this high, I'm telling you, the interest rate could be 15%. At the end of the day, you still have to account for, boss lady, what's going on? You still have to account for the price of the house. If a house is $200,000, they inflate that house to $300,000. Yeah, that's not a good deal. But if you find a good deal on that house, yes, buy. I'm not saying just buy to be buying. I'm not saying put yourself in debt. You know your pockets. You know how much you make. If you're sitting there spending $1,800 to lease a 3-bedroom apartment, you can spend $1,800 to buy a home. Even if you spend $2,000, $200 more, you know the issue with that is? Over time, you own that home. You're going to add more value. The property value is going up. You're going to be able to sell that house for way more money than you bought versus staying in an apartment for 18 years, and after 18 years, you don't own no stock, you don't own nothing in the apartment. Only thing you own in the apartment is the contents that you put into it. You don't own the building. You ain't doing no landscaping. You're not cutting no grass, none of that stuff. You don't own nothing on that place. So when it comes down to it, ownership is the key, where we don't talk about a lot of times in our community, just in general, in nobody's community, not even just in the black community, white community, because we're not educated about money. That's why the education system about us getting taught about money in the schools, real vague, because at the end of the day, nobody's talking about money because you need to be dumb about it. You don't need to learn about buying a house. All you need to do is hope you qualify and then go and buy. Most people who think they don't qualify, they qualify. But the problem is how much home you qualify for. That's the thing. Even with people going to buy a home that's kind of destroyed or kind of messed up, I think HUD Homes have those deals like that. Fannie Mae, the websites and stuff. You can actually go get a loan, a construction loan. I think it's called a 201 or 20, I think 203K loan or something like that, to actually fix the home because it's in distress. You buy the home, you get the loan for it, and they give you money to fix the house. You tell them everything that you need fixing, you put it all in detail. They'll turn around, take that home, fix it, and then give you the aftermarket value. So let's say you buy the house for $200,000. It needs $50,000 in repairs. Out of that $50,000 in repairs, you fix it. Now the value of your house is $300,000 just by fixing it for $50,000. Where can you go and get the money to do that and get you a nice house, pay your loan, and you good? See, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are always saying that they can't buy a home. They wouldn't buy a home in this market. Why not? We always talking about what we can afford, but we can go out here and spend our money lavishly on all these things. They even have grants. They have programs. Like, there's banks that give out $10,000 for down payment and closing costs. You can go, if you're in the military, you can actually get this VA loan with no money down, no closing costs. All you have to do is come with your name signed. And in most cases, depending on how you get your loan structured by your loan officer, you can get paid for buying a home. But we always say, man, I wouldn't buy a house. I can't afford a house. I didn't get qualified. Why? You don't make enough money. Debt to income ratio. A lot of people are so bad in debt because they don't pay their bills. When we were young doing all this stuff, what's going on, Alonzo? We would have never thought in a million years this was gonna come back and hunt us. Like, you didn't think about buying a home when you were young. Man, I wish I would have thought. I'm talking about I blew through so much money in my teen years, like my early 20s, 19 from all the way to 23. That was the time where I was just like going through money. From 19 to 23, going to the clubs, going to the mall, like the Atlanta life, just I was engulfed in it. I was going throwing money in the club. I was balling out of control. Buy a car, mess up, go buy me another car instead of fixing that one. Just get rid of it. You know, I wasn't thinking about buying properties. I wasn't thinking about investing in stocks. It's the things that I'm telling my boys now. Life insurance. That was always been a thing. You know, I told Alonzo this. My great grandmother expressed to me about life insurance. She said, you don't want to be a burden to nobody. If you die, you don't want your family to be worried about burying you. You don't want to be a burden. That's why getting life insurance is the best thing. And Lonzo just so happened to come in talking about this. But that was always the biggest thing of my family. Everybody in the family had life insurance. These younger kids now, I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. But in our household, throughout our family, that's like I was just telling my wife. I was like, you know, her grandma's 95 years old, finna be 96 next year. Just had a birthday for her 2 months ago. And man, when I say the whole family turned out, it was nice. You know, I think that it was the biggest turnout was her 94th birthday. You know, she had a big party and it was nice, but nice turnout. And like I told my wife, I said, the family structure right now is just being glued together with her. So if anything happens to her, she passed, it's not gonna be. That's how it was with my great grandmother. My great grandma had everybody. We doing family reunions, all that. The whole immediate family getting together. Soon as she passed, everything slowed down. Cousins beefing. You know, we put down the beef for the family, for Granny. But once she passed, oh, fist up, birds up. That's how it is, man. It's like families can't get along right now. It's just crazy. You know, yeah, we always have these issues, not just in our, everybody has these issues. I was just talking to one of my coworkers, white guy. He was saying that ever since his wife passed, he don't even talk to his son. He said his son was big on drugs. He went to rehab, started getting himself together, but he was like, he just don't trust it. He's like, man, that kid was an F up ever since this and ever since that. And it's everywhere. You know, I know a lot of Chinese kids that have gotten disowned from their family because they don't want to go to school to become doctors, lawyers. They want to be artists. Stuff that's not paying, that they don't equate to having a good career. This one big financial guy on YouTube I watch. He went to school to become a doctor, ended up going back to school being a lawyer, but he don't even practice. Passed the bar, everything. Don't even practice because he makes more money teaching financial literacy than he do as a lawyer. Go figure. I mean, you have people that do that all the time. There's this one lady I follow on YouTube. She talk about financial literacy. She's in tech. She was making, I think, $250,000 work for Amazon. She quit because she makes more money doing that. Then I have a lady that was a regular teacher. She taught, I think it was kindergarten, the Budgetnista, you know. Excuse me. But the Budgetnista, she's on YouTube. The Budgetnista end up, you know, the Budgetnista end up starting her career as an elementary school teacher, helping the elementary school kids, like the kindergarten moms and dad that come up there, the moms used to borrow $5, $10, $20 till she got paid. And she was teaching them how to do their taxes. She was teaching them how to budget themselves. Then got into it full time, ended up getting out of it because it wasn't working that well. Then getting back into it with her husband and made it be a thing. And then this is the crazy part about this, and I'm gonna get off of this. Y'all go look up the Budgetnista. So her husband ended up passing. Her husband never made over $60,000, but she was the oldest of 5 girls. She seen the stress that her mom had because her mom was still working. Dad was retired. Her dad was 10 years older than her mom. And she wanted to help her mom out. So she ended up getting her mom to the point of retiring. Told her mom, look, me and my husband want to pay our house off. Because they had to refinance the house because their youngest daughter went to college. So they refinanced the house. And, you know, she was in college doing her thing, about to get ready to graduate. And they end up getting the money, helping them pay down the house to the point of eventually paying it off. Then the dad didn't have to worry about the house. He was good. The mom didn't have to really work that hard to the point where she stopped working at all. And then the next step was, because she had the business on the side talking finance, she was able to give her mom and dad a stipend every month for like $1,500. The mom do whatever she want with her 15, and also the dad do whatever with his 15. Then when the husband ended up passing, the crazy part, they had a trust and everything because she didn't have a kid with the guy, but she had a stepdaughter. Stepdaughter still stayed with her. You know, everything was all good to the point. She liked her. You know, everything was good. The baby mama, she was cool, but they were doing a trust and found out that the baby mama still had the life insurance from his job under her name. And she said that would have been crazy if he would have passed earlier and they would have never knew that, because that lady probably would have took the money and ran. They had cases where I seen stories after stories where the ex-wife was still entitled to the money from the life insurance. She took it and ran. I'm talking about took it and ran. But that's how it goes sometimes. You know, people just greedy when it comes to money. And so having that trust set up, they was able to catch that before it happened. And the crazy part was when he passed, he already had things set up in the trust. They paid the house off. They paid another rental property off. She ended up boosting her business even more, because I'm quite sure that was over $1 million easy. She put $400,000 aside for the daughter. And this is not just for her college. This is for her to buy a house. So I'm like, you paid off one house, paid off another house. You end up putting $400,000 aside for her to buy a house when she get out of college, and you had money aside for her to go to college. So they must have had like a account for college that was paid up. I'm like, man, all that came from planning. If you don't plan, you fail. It's so many times, man, the money talk, it gets like blurry to people because we don't have these conversations. We don't have these conversations about when you die. Like my wife, she ended up just getting another policy. She have 2 to my 3. She get mad. I remember at one point she was getting mad at me for getting so many policies. But I'm like, I'm looking out for you, because I don't want you to go have to marry a man to help take care of you. I don't want you to have to depend on the kids to provide for you. That's my job, here or in the afterlife, to take care of you. So why not put the steps right now forward to get it done? I don't want the kids. If the kids don't want to go to a different school district, they don't need to go. Pay the house off, stay here. If they want to go to another school district, you want to leave this area, you got the money. Something happened to me, I'm going. Move. Keep this house. Don't sell it. Rent it out and go to another school district. All depending on what she want to do, because why? She's going to have the money to do it. Like the conversation we need to be talking about with money. I tell my boys that all the time. I was just telling my boys that yesterday. I said, I'm trying to get y'all to the point to where y'all learn money at a young age to where you can take care of yourself. Just like I was saying earlier. I wish I knew about stocks. I wish I knew about buying houses. I was blowing through money, having fun. You know how crazy, like how much invested I would be right now and everything out of all the money I blew. Thank you, Mills. I mean, but the thing of it is, I had a lot of good mentors. A lot of good mentors. A lot of people influencing my life. You know, seeing the ups and downs with my mom. My dad was in the military. My dad died when I was young. He had a trust set up for us. He had things set up for my mom. Being in the military, my mom got a check from the military. We got a check from the military until we turned 18. If we had the option to go to college, college was going to be paid for. All these things, like, he set up because he wanted us to be better. And that was always, I was always taught that the kids have to be better than the parents. That's why I told my kids, I said, I'm setting the bar so high. I don't know, like, if you're going to have any margin, man, when it comes to your wife going to be like, well, your dad did all this for you. What you going to do for me? It's like, you know, that's what my dad, he set the bar high for me. And like I said, I was always taught that. The student has to become the teacher. Sorry about that, man. I'm about to jump off of here. I got a call from my brother, man. He just crazy. Yeah. But I appreciate y'all, man. I'm about to get ready to jump off of here. Shout out to everybody that came through. But, you know, hey, it's imperative, man. We get ourselves together. We get our conversations talking about money within our household, within our family, within our community. Because, like, in a couple years, man, our financial literacy is going to be gone. Like, our kids, if we don't teach our kids, nobody else will. You know, having the fun, they were saying that if your kids don't learn, your grandkids will. And the reason why that's so imperative, because the mistakes you make with your kids, you find it and level out and you teach your grandkids. I've seen some my friends, their grandkids are spoiled and they are smart in a mug. My cousin, his grandson, straight A student. He sat down when that boy was young and he talked to him like a man. Look, no crying, you need to be doing this. And he always called it the Pawpaw Crew. You got to be down with the Pawpaw Crew. The Pawpaw Crew hasn't made good grades. The Pawpaw Crew hasn't no money. Like this boy, I'm talking about literally smart. Straight A's. Not to mention, he has a kid in his class that they're in competition right now. Who's the best overall every year? And this dude stay in his neighborhood now. So as long as he's still in that neighborhood, him and this boy gonna be in competition all the way to the 12th grade. And they go back and forth. One time, my cousin, his grandson, just know him. That's my cousin too. But the boy got honor roll 2 years straight. The other boy was so mad, he ended up getting it the next year, and then my cousin ended up beating him out. But he was like, I'm the only one that got honor roll 2 years straight. So now this boy has such competition to try to get honor roll 2 to 3 years straight so he can beat him out. Frugal Mama, what's going on? But yeah, man. But like I say, it's big, man. We have to teach our kids finance. I'm getting my boys a custodial account through Fidelity to get them into the stock market, learning and stuff. My daughter's in real estate, so I've been teaching them about buying houses and stuff like that, and options, and learning how to look at land for deals. And like I've been telling them, man, just you got to be educated about this. If our kids are not educated about this, like I keep saying, nobody else is going to teach your kid finance the way you do. Start them early. I got my sons now. I just bought both of my sons track shoes. They want those track shoes. Guess what they did? Put on a vest and went to work with me. They put on the vest and went to work with me. Had them out there working, picking up stuff, cleaning up, cutting. I was showing them how to use tools. And my son want to do it because he want to get paid. He wants certain things. And I'm like, I'm not a bank. I'm not an ATM. You got to go to work just like me. You got to teach them responsibility young. I was working at 8 years old, helping my granddad put up burglar bar doors. 8 years old. I was strong for my, big and strong for my age. And I was helping him put up metal, not the hollow aluminum, real metal doors. What's going on? Drip, young Riaz. But the point of it is, man, like, I teach my kids the same way. But what's the old saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm pushing them the same way. It's gonna take a time with them because this new generation they call YNs, they crazy. They call them YNs, but these YNs are crazy. And the crazy part is, man, like the young generation, man, these young generation kids, man, they just like with their parents, don't want to listen, it's like a struggle with them because I always say the students, the kids are being taught by the students. So you have friends teaching friends stuff and they don't know anything about life. If you don't teach your kids about sex, the kids in the school gonna teach them about sex. Kids in the school don't know nothing because they hear things. Prime example, and I'm gonna get off of here just like Bruce. He said that he learned that midgets come from dudes who have small things. And he thought that all his life till he got an adult, and that wasn't true. But I mean, some foolish is that. Like, come on, what are we dealing with? But shout out to everybody. I'm gonna get off of here. Gotta go hit this JOB. We here, and we gone. Peace.